Okay, so we're going to talk about how to create artworks with some basic shapes. So let's take a look, and let's go to New File, and I'm going to go to Art and Illustration on top. I'm going to go to 1920 by 1080, and make sure that this is selected here for the landscape. I'm going to create two artboards, and create. Now I have two. We're going to do two backgrounds for this particular assignment, and I'm going to show you how you can play around with some different shapes and create some art. Now, one of these is going to be for daytime, one of these is going to be for nighttime, and your shape tool is here. And so you have a rectangle shape that shows up. If you hold down, you'll see you have a ellipse tool, a polygon tool, a star tool, and a line tool. So let's start with the rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag a rectangle. Now this rectangle is white and it has just a black outline. If I move this rectangle, I can see it's white. If I go to properties, I can change the inside of this with it selected. I can go to fill and I can change it to blue. The outline is black. If I select this and I go to stroke, I can change the outline to another color as well. I can change it to red and it will change red, although it's really small. So if I want to see it bigger, I can change the stroke to make it much larger. And as I make this larger, I can see that now my rectangle is blue with a red outline. Okay, now I'm going to select this one more time. And what I can do is I can change the opacity of this as well. So I can change that and make it kind of see-through. With the selection tool, I can move it around. Oops, I double-clicked too many times. I can move it around. With my sub-selection tool, direct selection, I can grab one anchor and I can move it. And I can make it however, whatever kind of shape I want it to be. If I do not want an outline on my shape, I can select it. Oops. I can select my shape and I can turn this off, the stroke off. Okay. If I want the outline, but I don't want the inside, let me change this. But I don't want the blue, I can turn the fill off. Or I can change the color. If I want to change types of shapes, I can change to another shape like ellipse, and I can drag a shape out. Notice it's going to be the same as my last one unless I change the colors. If I press Shift, it will hold the size of the shape to make it the same all around. If I hold Alt and I drag, it drags from the middle. If I hold Alt and Shift and drag, it drags from the middle and makes it even all sides. Or if I just do a regular drag, it drags from the outside. So it's a little different. And you can customize this how you want. You can also do direct customizing and you can grab the anchors. You can squash it down. You can make it stretch. You can change these handles and make it kind of wobbly. So you can customize circles too. With the other tools, you can make a polygon, and with the polygon tool, you can stretch a shape out. If you double click on the polygon tool, let's see. Nope, it won't let me double click on it, but so if I drag this out and I want to change this polygon to a different shape, I can click out here and tell it I want different number of sides. I can tell it the size of it as well. So if I want 10 sides and hit OK, I'll create a new shape that has 10 sides. If I want a side that is 3 sides, because there is no triangle tool, then I can hit that and get a triangle. Now if I go to my star tool and I want to make my star tool different color, I can do that. Oops, I just changed the wrong one. I have to make my shape first before I can do that. So I'm going to click over here, get my star tool, click my color. I don't want an outline. And if I make a star, do that. If I want a star with different number of sides, say I want 20 sides on this star, I'll create one like that. If I want to resize the stars, I can use this tool and I can resize it. Now notice that it goes kind of squashy, right? So if I hold Shift and resize it, it stays the same. So I can make big stars, small stars, different sizes and different shapes stars. And that is basically what you can do with these different. If I want this to stand out more, I can put an outline on it too. Same thing with this one. To make them stand out, I can see them better now. You can make lines as well, and this will be a line. If I create a line segment, there is no fill on a line, but you can make thick lines and thin lines and different colored lines if you want to. So you can make artwork with just straight lines like this. So experiment with these shapes, see what you can build, because you can combine shapes and different things. If I wanted to combine a couple shapes like this, and I wanted this to be in front of the triangle, I can right click on it and I can go to arrange and I can say bring to front. And it looks like almost like a person's head and maybe part of their body. And if I want to combine them, I can take both of them and I can go to object. And from object, I can go to group. So now they are part of the same object and I can move them around together. So you can customize your shapes. You can put them all together. But then when you put them together, if you change the colors, it's going to change the colors for both of them. So if you want them to be different colors, then you have to do that first before you combine them. Then once you have them all customized, then you can group them together. If you decide I don't want them grouped together, you can go to Object, Ungroup, and then you can click them apart. So you can play around with these shapes. You can change the way that these shapes look if you want to. You can resize them, you can customize them. You could even add curves to some of these shapes. It gives you an option on the inside. So a lot of these with sharp edges, you can make pretty curvy as well. So there's different ways that you can customize your shapes and you can add them together and give this a try and see what you can do with creating a background with the sky. Also, make sure that you change how you layer your shapes. So if you want to make a ground, then what I would do is start with something like a rectangle and make a ground first. Now my ground doesn't need an outline, so I can turn that off and I can change this to like a green. But now I'm covering up some of my shapes. So what I can do is right click on it, arrange, and send to back. And now my ground has shapes on top of it and I can build things and put things in my new background. You can do the same thing for the other side. You'll have one daytime and one nighttime scene. And go ahead, have fun, experiment with this, and see what you can create.